Beloved, I'm making this video from Nederland, Texas. Now, for those of you that know anything about Texas, you know that Nederland and Beaumont are sister cities that sit in southeastern Texas, about 2 hours, if you drive quickly, from Houston. And I've got to speak here in Nederland tonight at Pastor John Ortiz's church, and then we fly home tomorrow. I'm looking forward to Sunday for a whole lot of reasons. I asked Pastor Mario if we could do another sacred session on Sunday. I was supposed to preach, but I'd really prefer to do a sacred session with Pastor Mario and pick up on where we left off last Sunday in 2 Corinthians when Paul goes from the binary catalog of afflicted but not crushed, perplexed but not despairing, struck down but not struck out, persecuted but not forsaken. He goes on from there to say, I believed when David said all men are liars, that he was telling the truth. He says, and I've got the same spirit of faith. Now, just think about it. David is going through major warfare in Israel with folk that just want to lie about him. And in all that's going on with David, David says, they're all liars. They're all liars, right? And Paul is going through the same thing centuries and centuries later with these super apostles that are lying about him. And he says, but I have the same spirit of faith. And so what's going on is Paul is going through hell and back. He is dealing with emotional turmoil, anxiety and unrest and false accusation on top of all the stress that he carries for the concern of the churches, which he enumerates later on. And he says, if David can say, I believed when I said in my heart all men are liars, and he was speaking by faith, I'm saying the same thing. Folk are lying. Now look, if we just go back 10 years in our history in the West, let alone the church, there's a whole lot of lying going on in the church. And I'm not trying to make light of this. I'm just saying, who's telling the truth about Jesus these days? And you can get to a place where there's so much lying going on that you wonder, is anybody tell the truth anymore? And in that, recognize it's easy to lose heart. It's easy to lose heart when you feel like, what are they saying? That's not true. What are they saying? That's not true. And David is saying, they're all lying. And Paul is saying, the spirit of faith enabled David not to lose heart and recognize the difference between the truth and the lie. And Paul is saying, they may want me to think I'm crazy, but I know what I'm saying. And I've been through hell and back in order to say it. And the spirit of faith has preserved me, so much so that I bring to speech the reality of what God is doing in me, despite what they're trying to do against me. And God continues to infuse me with resurrection power. Now, that can get me excited. I hope it can get you excited. And Sunday, we just might get excited together as we talk about the very things that would easily cause us to lose heart, that we don't lose heart in, precisely because we know the difference between the truth and the lie. And God keeps raising us up to keep moving forward. That in and of itself is deep healing. Let's lean into Sunday. God's up to something good. Pray for the meetings tonight. I'm believing God that I'm going to have a word for this house and this pastor as they've been going through some challenges. And I believe God's going to meet them in a way that will honor and glorify Jesus and bless his people. I'll see you Sunday. Have a great weekend.